Hey guys, Ball for Life here. It is a great day in the Madden Overdrive world. We had the Hall of Fame promo drop today, starting a new video series on play calling and reading the defenses, and we got the new iPhone XS Max in the mail. So hopefully I'll be recording these videos on the larger screen as soon as my backup is restored on the new phone. So really excited, all these things coming together today. So the first play I want to talk about is Y cross flood out of the spread scheme, and I'm going to focus mostly on the spread scheme because there's not as much information out there, and it is my favorite scheme. I think as the defenses get tougher and as they fix some of the spamming issues in Overdrive, that it will be the playbook that really has the best chance of consistently shredding other defenses. Just because of the play types that are there, it forces you to have good skill players, and so you can't rely on just one wide receiver in one position. You really have to have good skill sets all the way across the field, and then you can just shred people on out routes, crossing routes, post routes. There's just so many options inside of this playbook that I like. Even the running plays are quite good. And so the first play I want to start with is Y cross flood. Y cross flood is my opening play always in Overdrive. I like to start out with this play because it's a single strike touchdown, so I can potentially, with the tight end, be able to get all the way around the defenders and immediately score, which is always great in Overdrive. It also has a number of different routes that differ in technique. So you have a wide receiver go route, an optional route by the slot receiver that could be a hook, an out, or an in route. You have a fullback wheel route. You have a tight end slanted post route that goes to the middle of the field, and you have a deep post route by the other wide receiver. And so those different looks, I think, allow you to kind of see how the defense handles a bit of a spread out offense. And also how quickly are they able to cover ground, which gives you an idea of how rapidly they're going to be able to cover the distance between where you want to throw the ball and where they are. And that's really important in Overdrive. Just like head-to-head last year, you wanted to avoid interceptions as much as possible. Same in Overdrive. An interception can absolutely kill you because you not only do you waste time on the clock because they get to run it back, you lose a possession and a chance to score. And on top of that, they get points every time you do that. So interceptions are bad in Overdrive, and I would say almost even worse so in terms of points loss and missed opportunities than in head-to-head last year. So let's take a look at Y cross flood. Y cross flood, the main reads that we're going to go to are the Y tight end and the A slot receiver. Both of those are always going to be the main reads out of this or on this particular play. The two wide receiver routes that we have, they're almost always well covered. You will occasionally get a press coverage by one of the cornerbacks on the B receiver that sometimes will allow them to slip behind, and you can sometimes get a bullet in the direction of that wide receiver. But it is a risky throw anytime you do that as well. The running back play also, those flats plays are a little bit wonky in Overdrive anyway right now, and so I don't recommend usually throwing to those very often. And again, our primary goal is going to be trying to chip away and get yardage down the field with Overdrive or an LVL. And so Y and A, the tight end and the slot receiver, are our primary go-to receivers. And so this first configuration that you see is one of the more common ones. It's actually 3-4 configuration. You have the linebackers that are kind of lined up on the right-hand side of the field. And in this configuration, the right-hand safety is actually going to come down into the middle of the field and play zone defense in the middle of the field to cover that tight end that comes around. When you see this configuration and that tight end, as soon as they pass by the safety, then you're going to hit the tight end for some nice easy yardage. And so let's scroll through and watch that play through. So there we snap. We see the tight end. Now he'll make a cut right here. You see it's not a smooth curve. He makes a little bit of a pivot right there and then cuts across. And as soon as he gets behind the defender, you want to throw the ball. And I waited just a little bit too long when I was recording this video, so he had to dive to try to catch it. But you see how he can get around there pretty easily. So now this is an alternate configuration for that 3-4 defense, as they can be lined up on the left-hand side of the field. If you see this, the same 3-4 configuration, but if we see this sort of left-handed 3-4 configuration, then the left-handed safety is actually going to come down and play zone defense in the middle of the field instead of the right-hand safety. And that left-hand safety actually plays much tighter defense on the tight end than the right-hand safety did. And so this left-handed configuration also has a little bit of either a disguised blitz, or you'll have a higher pressure blitz to where you need to get rid of the ball pretty quickly, or even a pretty stout offensive line like mine, which are 83, 84 plus players. They'll still get through regardless of who I'm playing. And so you see that slot receiver is pretty much wide open. There's nobody directly covering him, so one of those defenders is going to have to move over to the right-hand side in order to hit him. So when you see this configuration, I would go straight to the slot receiver. And let's show what that looks like. So we snap the ball, and there you see the slot receiver is wide open, and then we toss the ball out. And there I couldn't throw the ball, so I'm going to take the sack there. But you can see that slot receiver is just wide open. That defender has to come from several yards away in order to try to make up ground, and then is stuck in his zone configuration, and so he just lets him go. So that's going to be not deep yardage generally, but if you can get the timing right on that, you can get 5 to 10 yards on that out route. So this is back to the right-handed configuration. Again, we can see that repeats pretty consistently, that we're going to be in that right-hand safety coming down playing zone. As soon as that tight end crosses over, we make the pass, and nice, easy yardage. So let's run it again. Here we see what I thought was an interesting configuration for this particular play is that the defense will actually come out in a dime configuration. We actually have the safety in a corner or two safeties sitting out there. So this is a full dime back or full defensive back configuration here. And there are two possibilities when you see this. The middle linebacker there is either going to step back and play zone against that tight end, or he's actually going to be coming in for a blitz. And so let's see what happens. I always let the defense shift. I'll take the couple seconds it takes them to shift so I can see exactly how much space that I'm working with any particular defensive alignment. Also, I don't want to, influence the way the AI is trying to interpret the play. And so I let them get seated exactly where they're supposed to be before I snap the ball. And so then let's scroll forward and we can see what happens. So here, in this case, the middle linebacker comes back, is playing zone against the tight end, and you see that's pretty tight coverage. That's going to be tough if we try to throw that. Even if your tight end is fast, he's going to be ahead of the defender's going to be in front of that ball and probably come back with interception. So the main read when that middle linebacker steps back into zone should be going to the hook route that the slot receiver threw, or that the slot receiver ran for some nice, easy short yardage. So this is another configuration that you'll see. This is a single safety back. We're still in the dime configuration. There are all the DBs are out there, which again I thought was interesting on this play that would be the default configuration, or one of the default configurations. But in this case, what's going to happen with that single deep safety, that tight end is going to be wide open. You just wait for him to come around that linebacker. As soon as he comes around the linebacker, zip the ball to him with a bullet, and that area of the field is wide open for some nice long yardage. So here we have another league mate of mine playing some drives against with Y-Cross Flood. And so again, what we want to do is look at the configuration of the defense. Here we've got that dime configuration again. And now we want to watch and see what that middle linebacker does in this case. There he comes back into zone. And so since he's back into zone, we know that out route's going to be open, so we can hit them, or we can try to zip one in if we think that we're fast enough to be able to beat that. If you throw that ball, you want to make sure that you throw that as soon as that tight end crosses that defender. And another key sign there is if that safety comes down and then just kind of sits, he'll park it right there. And if he just stays there, then you probably have a little bit more of a window to be able to throw to the tight end, because that safety's sitting there waiting to see which way he needs to go to make a play on the person with the ball. So let's scroll through. Here we have that left-handed 3-4 configuration. So the left-hand safety is going to come down into zone to play the middle of the field. Again, we want to get rid of the ball really quickly. You see how the defensive lines is pushing through my line like they're really not even there. And we want to hit that out route just as quickly as we can. Again, usually this will go out of bounds for 4 or 5 yard gain, but sometimes if you can get it off early enough, then you can get some pretty good yardage. This is an example of the dime configuration again, where the middle linebacker actually blitzes, which again is going to be another perfect read to the tight end. So when you see this defensive formation and that middle linebacker starts blitzing, then you know he's going to be able to break away, and especially when he makes that cut right there, you see that separation that automatically just happens. And if you hit Y right there, nice bullet, that part of the field is going to be wide open for some nice, easy yardage again. Hope you guys liked the video. Probably take me a few times to get into sync with how I want to do these and setting up the video footage and everything, but I appreciate you guys for bearing with me. But hopefully these are helpful. Hopefully this helps you do better in Overdrive, helps you understand the defenses a little bit better and the defensive configurations that you're seeing in the game. But if you like everything, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.